Go back before you got hurt. When before I was scared, now I'm feeling prepared. Don't you wanna feel good? Don't you wanna feel good?
When you say you were leaving, I thought that you meant it. I played the victim, you start as indifferent. Hindsight comes standard with rose-colored lenses. Hate to admit it, you're better off. Now you're too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. We're night and day, solar eclipses. Too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. We're night and day, solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start it.
Maybe feeling change, I could be better. All the reasons why we went separate ways. Feeling all alone in your company. Keeping you captive with really chains.
We're night and day, solar eclipses. Too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. We're night and day, solar eclipses. Solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again.
Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go. Tomorrow we build. Depends on the future we want, we can make it as real. Maybe we will go, give up the ego. Making it feel good. Too scared to just let it go. Too scared to just let it go.
Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. Caught up in your gravity, always end up lost in your wake. Intoxicated, maybe we can start again. We can start again. We can start it.
Alright, what's up everybody? We are live here with the Roundup. Yanks is running late because it's Yanks, and he always runs late. I think he's in here now. Look at that. So
Yeah, what's up?
we got Yanks here. You know, your boy Hazmat. We got our friend Primo, and then our good friend
Hello.
Sky, who does the minors, who has his mic muted, but might be joining us later.
I'm
Um,
here.
oh, hello,
Yes,
Sky.
guy.
All
Yeah.
right. So you guys want to kick it off with talking about the elite standings?
Yep.
All right, Yanks, you want to take it away?
Yep. So first off, in the elite division, we had quite a few teams clinching playoff spots actually last week. Let me just pull it up here. So in first, they clinched a playoff spot and the division outright. The Aerial Aces 15-0, 3 more wins, and they will be undefeated. And then second, we have H2O. They just clinched a playoff spot last night, I believe. So they will be going to the playoffs to play either the 3 seed right now, the Leftovers 2.0, who are 10-5, or Gravity, who are 9-7. That'll be an interesting race. Any of you guys have any input on that? The Leftovers 2.0 and Gravity?
I think Gravity has a really nice chance of trying to beat Leftovers up there, but it'll be a pretty close match between the two. But my root's for Gravity right now because from seeing what they have been doing, they have been doing some nice passing plays and just planning everything out pretty nicely. So it'll be pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. The way I see it is Gravity, they've played, one more game. So the Leftovers 2.0 have a game on hand on them. And but the Leftovers 2.0, they play. Let me look here. They play H2O yet. They have to play, but Gravity plays, I believe, 2 more Cupcake teams. So if Gravity can win both of those games, they will be 11-7. And I could easily see the Leftovers 2.0 only winning one of the remaining 3, and then we'd have a tie. And I do not know who has the head-to-head at this point. I think it might be 1-1, so we might have a tiebreaker game. But then anyway, keep going down. We have these 3 teams were eliminated: G3 Esports 7-10, Horizon 4-11, and Control Game 3-11. So now we want to move on to the Pro Division.
Well, before we do that, I just want to give my 2 cents on the Leftovers Gravity race.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, I got to give it to Leftovers. I think they're the better team, and I think that they're going to come out on top and take it. And that's really all I had to say. But I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to give a contradictory opinion to Primo because that's how I feel. But yeah, let's
Mhm.
move on to the Pro. Here we have it.
Yeah.
Not
All
as
right,
much
so-
action in the Pro Division as the Elite in terms of clinching and getting eliminated.
Yeah, but we do have LGBV defending champs from last season. They 15-1. They clinched the playoff spot in the division, and then we really do. We have a close 3-team, 4-team race for the final 2 playoff spots. We have Vitality 8-6, a couple more wins, and they should be able to clinch. ESG is actually in third. They would have the playoff spot right now, 6-7. Origin 6-9, and fourth battling for the final playoff spot. Galaxy 5-8, Globo Gym 4-11, all but eliminated, and the Fatal Strikers 1-15. What do you guys have to say about that?
I mean the Pro Division isn't as crazy as the Elite. All the teams there are kind of just staying where they're at. I mean LGBV is ahead by like a lot of wins right now. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but just looking at the Pro Division, it just seems like all the teams are just staying where they're at and not really much action going on here. So
We very may well have a situation where the third playoff spot goes to a team with a losing record, which would be, I think it might have happened last season with the Fatal Strikers. I think they might have gotten in at 8-10. Not sure. Haz, what do you have to say about this?
I mean, it's close, right? Like, I think it's too close to predict, honestly. So, I mean, we have Evil Sheep Gaming coming in and completely reorganizing from, I believe it was formerly Factory New
Mhm.
Whiteout, right?
Mhm.
And that the Factory New Whiteout team was just, they did not do well. They started off the season poorly. And I think the rebrand and refocus, replayer, I don't know how to say it, but the new players and all that changed up the team and they got done what they had to get done. So I'm honestly pretty confident that I think ESG can take the second playoff spot from Vitality here at the end, and then it'll be close between Vitality and Origin for that third playoff spot.
Yeah,
I'm leaning
well-
more towards Vitality personally, but
Mhm.
you know, I think I got to give it to at least for top 3 LGBB and then ESG and Vitality. I'm not 100% confident on the order between those two, but that's who I'm thinking.
The thing is, though, ESG, I think they only got one new player after that thing, because Venny left, but Hyper was on the team. Clid was on the team when they were factoring new out, and I lost the name of the third, but they were on the same team. But since then, they started out 0-6. They went 6-1 since that point. I believe it was like week 6 or 7. So it's really good for them, and I do agree with you that I think it will be Vitality and ESG. So now we're going to move on to the stats, currently updated, and they're not in per game averages. Sorry about that, but they're up there. So first, we're going to start off with assists. Will was 31. He also leads in average. Gatman with 26, and then Andy and High Tide tied with 23. Goals, Andy was 47. Will was 46. Gatman was 43. But I do believe that Will and Gatman had the advantage in per game over Andy. And then saves is freeze was 49. Edgy Vertex from Horizon was 45, and Will was 40. So one name I wanted to point out is Will is on all three of those leaderboards there. What a season from him, and I have to say I think he is the leading MVP candidate right now. What do you guys have to say about those stats?
I definitely agree on that. Will is a really insane player. He's just keeping up the stats up on the leaderboards. And speaking of the leaderboards, it feels like, or I feel like that kind of the same people who are just keeping it up and not letting anyone else take their spot on the leaderboards here, especially Andy as well.
Yeah. Has what do you have to say?
Not much besides what I said last week. I mean, we have what I think, I don't remember who coined the term, but somebody coined the term the big three, kind of just dominating
Yeah.
everything right now. Will, Andy the Roo, and Gatman just kind of
Mhm.
cleaning up, doing crazy things, and it's hard to shine right now with these three just dominating. So I think every time we talk about the stats, it's a little repetitive. So I don't have much to
That
say, to be honest.
Yeah, that also brings me to like another thing I was thinking about. I forget who I was talking about this with, but so we, like you said, we have like the big three: Andy, Will, and Gatman, and then I forget, but we were talking about like the next level of players there. Like who else besides them? Like we have Annex Poseidon, really good, and Tormund definitely, but their stats. Annex, he's been on fire lately, piling up goals and assists, but Tormund especially for the leftovers. I've noticed he's gone into a much more defensive role like this season, from where he was in season 1. He was racking up points. I think he finished second behind Poseidon. But it brings you into that discussion, like who are the elite players in the major league right now? Like I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that. I guess
Well,
not.
I mean, I have some thoughts, but I feel like the stats don't reflect it, and the stats page I have here doesn't really show it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I want to give a lot of love to Clid and X
Mm.
Poseidon, both great players. And then so there's one player who I thought was going to be really good this season, but hasn't played much, and
Mm.
his team hasn't really shown it, and that's a Clutchy Toby, I believe, on Globo Gym,
Yeah.
who's a really good player, but I feel like his stats just don't reflect it, and that's due to him not playing as much and his team not doing too well. So I think he's someone to watch out for maybe next season, but as far as like Clid and Annex Poseidon, I think they're both really great players, and we should try to get some of their stats up on here one time and talk about them a little more.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of like I feel like underappreciated players. Another one, and after the All Star game where the Elite Division completely demolished the Pro Division All Stars, a player that was getting a lot of hate I did observe was Zynga. But you have to understand, Zynga plays in that Origin team with two players who they're not bad at all. They're good. They're good. They just came up from the minors and they're having a hard time adjusting. And Zynga came in and he's led them. They're still in playoff contention. And I just feel he gets a lot of unnecessary hate when he's pretty like a fairly good player. Maybe not in the level of like Andy and Will and Gatman, but he's a pretty good player. Um, and wait, did you ever get the play of the week thing I sent you? I don't know if you did.
Nope.
That's Matt. All right, so we're not gonna share that, I guess, but I will point out it was gonna be Shakey's double touch to take the lead in that one game last week. But now I guess we'll move on to next week's schedule. Um, Actually, I want to highlight some big games quick from last week. We had AA over Origin, LGBB over the Leftovers 2.0. That was a great series. AA over Gravity, LGBB over H2O. That was another fantastic series between two elite teams. Leftovers 2.0 over G3 and LGBB over Vitality that's really helped to shape the playoff race in the Pro Division. And now on to next week's schedule. Well, not next week because we're on Christmas break for like 2.5 weeks. We get back, I believe, the 4th or when games pick up again. And then we have the Leftovers 2.0 versus H2O and LGBB versus Galaxy. Those are both on the 4th. And then the last game day of the season before the playoffs, the 9th, we have LGBB versus Origin and H2O versus AA. That is where I think AA's undefeated season could come to an end. Any thoughts, guys?
I think A-Show versus AA will be probably one of the top games that everyone would want to watch. I'm so down to watch it. I'll be really hype after Christmas break. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got Poseidon against Will. I hope they're both playing in that game. It'll be intense. Hazmat, what do you think?
Truth be told, I wasn't 100% listening because I was trying to figure out how to get this video done.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be able to get it as much as I wanted to. So I'm sorry. But yeah, I was not 100% listening. I apologize.
That's fine. But yeah, we do have some big games coming after Christmas break, right before the playoffs. But 2 more spots to be decided, 3 more, including the spot in the Elite Division. And now, actually, Will is in here. Hazmat, I believe, is going to interview Will. Will, are you here? This mic's muted. Will? Oh, there's Will. All right, take it away, guys.
How you doing, Will? How you feeling, buddy? Hello?
Mike's really quiet on this. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
There you go. We're here. What's been up, man? How you feeling in the league? I'm just trying to make sure that your mic's working enough at this point to respond.
Is it working?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
you're
here.
good. All right. So, I wanted to talk to you because you're obviously the top player, arguably the best player in the league right now. You know, you're pretty much constantly on top stats. You're constantly on top of the best team in the league. So just first of all, I mean, how does that feel? You know, knowing that you're probably the best here.
I don't know. I wouldn't say best. I'd like. We had a tricky spot here.
So
All right.
we see if he's humble or he's
Going the humble route.
go.
You know what? I appreciate it. I'm setting you up to just give yourself mad love here, man, but I totally respect not wanting to do that. So I guess the question that I have for you next would be, how are you feeling knowing you clinched the playoff spot, you clinched your division? Are you guys looking to the playoffs yet, or are you still more focused on the rest of the games and just trying to keep that undefeated up? Or have you started looking and saying, okay, let's watch what these other teams are doing, let's figure out how we can win this harder playoff series?
Looking at game by game, really. We're just I'm telling to like his rotations more. We're just focusing on that. We're not really focusing on any playoffs and who we're going to play.
Yeah, for sure, man. So have you guys done any like scouting yet? Do you think you're gonna try to pick somebody else up for just or like see anybody else, or not gonna release that information to us yet? We gotta wait till next season.
To anything. So
What's
that's what I'm going to say. No comment.
All right, fair enough. I was hoping we
All
could
right.
get some insight into AA maybe a little bit later
Well,
and
I have
start
a question.
training now for them.
Wait, I have a question, Will. So continuing on the discussion we were talking about earlier, if you've played against a lot of teams, if there's one player in the RLPC that you say is underrated and doesn't get enough love, who would it be?
Primo.
Yeah, I'd say High Tide because I play with him a lot. And about 2
Yeah.
months ago, he was Plat 3.
Yeah, definitely, I
And
agree.
I played with him a lot. He's going up to Champ 2 almost now. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think he got, like you said, he got up to champ 2, and he is, I believe, top like 5, maybe 6, maybe a little higher than that in points in the league. Hazmat, you have any more questions?
No, I'm good. I was unprepared for this. I was joking when I said I'd interview him. I thought that was clear, and then you said I was doing it, and I just panicked.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by. Last season's MVP,
thank you.
Will. All right, and now we are going to. Actually, one more thing I want to discuss about the majors is I had someone PM me this. It was a little weird, and they told us to put it on Roundup. Not going to release who it was, but it was a player on Vitality. And let me just pull up the message quick. They wanted to talk about how there was some grumblings going on with the team and how they've been losing quite a bit recently. And some of the players on the team apparently are mad because they benched Fire Kid for someone who just joined the league, and I'm quoting this, who isn't turning out well, and they've lost every game since, and a bunch of the players are going frustrated. So, what do you guys think? How do you think that affects them down the road trying to battle for this playoff spot and in the playoffs? A bunch of like team chemistry issues.
Well, so I mean, you never want to be in a position where you don't like your teammates. It's pretty simple. I mean, so like, for my team when we're playing, we're completely just friends first, right? Like we all love each other. We're all good friends, and we just hang out and like it's about fun for us, right? And I think when the league isn't fun and you don't like your teammates and you're not getting along, you're not going to play together well at all. It's exactly what you said. It's team chemistry. And if you guys aren't friends, then you don't have chemistry and you're not going to play together well. So it's definitely important, and it's something that I hope they can figure out because I want every team in the league to play their best, and I want some good matches, you know?
But I definitely agree with him. Like the decision to bench Fire Kid. I mean, he was playing with them when they were like winning all these games early in the season, and they benched him. I don't know who the new player was they were talking about. They benched him for, but I think it's a little questionable when you bench one of your top players and like start moving him into the fourth spot, sub spot when you're doing so well.
I'd like to speak just to Fire Kid. He's actually who brought me into the league back in season 1, and that's because I met him on like the Reddit Rocket League friends thing. So I played with him a lot kind of back then, and he dragged me all the way from like Plat 2 to like Diamond 2. So I mean, he's a good player and he's a great guy, and I am sorry that that's happened to him, that he got benched, you know. I don't agree with
And
it,
it's
but I also don't
also
know the team situation.
Fire Kid's also been on teams, the Leftovers 2.0 season 1 and 2, that made like deep playoff runs. They never won it, but they made deep playoff runs. So he has like that experience of playing in the pressure time. But I think they should put him back in. But now, without further ado, we're going to give it away to Sky. He's here, and he is going to talk about the minor league and how that's all shaping up. Sky, you here? Maybe. There he is.
All right, guys. Let's talk about the minors, second division. Well, in most of last week, we had several, let's say, very important. I want to say very important matches, but they still had their importance. Solar over Average Joe's and Obsidian over OWA. And Obsidian right now on top of that mountain, undefeated 12-0, which, you know, is always good. It's basically a playoff spot for them. But Quantum Theory only have played 10 games, but they're pretty close behind. And, you know, I was Genesis brought it a bit together, 8-5. CO2 dominating the Challenger division at the moment, 11-1, as I can see from the standings here. And the
I actually have
Eclipse,
to like, if I can interject quick. Did I read the
yeah,
other day that CO2 played like 8 games last week and they won every single one? I saw someone in the
yeah,
chat. That's pretty insane because I think they were only played like 4 games. Like they're way behind. Then they played like 8 last week and they won every single one. Sorry for
yeah.
interrupting you. Go.
It was like it's fun, but it was pretty insane. Melm is just
Yeah.
carrying them to all those
57
victories.
points in 26 games for him from home.
Unbelievable. Absolute just all-star on that team.
Mm.
But you had, you know, Star Division has switched up a little bit. Solar now 6-6, giving those Average Joe's Gym and No Boost a chance to take their spot, take that last playoff spot right there.
Mm.
Not a lot of teams that play in the Challenger division like have played games, so it's really hard to tell who's really in and who's really out.
Yeah.
But I would like to say that Eclipse, Genesis, and CO2 are probably the three teams that are going to come out to the playoffs. But Newton's Law, they have always they're a bit my dark horse team. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they were to slip in place of Eclipse or Genesis or any other team. So yeah, that's the standings right there.
I just want to make a comment real quick that currently Obsidian is still 12-0 undefeated, which means they're only 6 away from going 18-0, and then they just have to win the championship, and then Sun-Dried Swine has to give all his crates to the league for next season's prize pool. I just want to make sure we are all aware of that.
Who do you think has a better chance to go undefeated? Aerial Aces in the Major League or Obsidian in the minor league? What do you guys think?
I'm not sure, honestly. So I think Obsidian are clearly the more standout team in the sense of like, I think they're a more standout in the fact that they're just like I would put them in a cut above every other minor league team. And
Yeah.
AA is in that division as well, right? Like they're standout too, but I think there's more teams in the majors that are also standout. So I think it's more likely that Obsidian will go undefeated than AA, but I think they're both gonna go undefeated.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Aerial Aces have a little bit of an advantage because they only have 3 games remaining, but that's fair. I agree.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same way right there.
So, is that all you got?
Well, I do have some games coming up after the Christmas break,
Mhm.
and it's Solar facing against Obsidian and Quantum Theory.
That should be
And
a
I
good one.
think those games will really prove if they are a playoff team that can face against these types of guys, or they're going to have to be fighting for that last playoff spot.
Yeah.
And then you have another game in the Challenger division, Genesis versus Eclipse. And I think that'll be very important to see who will be challenging CO2. So, that's all well and good.
I agree with you on those games to watch. If that's all you have, that's all I have. It's our last RLPC Roundup before Christmas break. I don't know if Hazmat wants to play some Christmas music. I know that was a highly requested thing.
Well, do we want to talk about the minor league stats at all? Because I did make a small thing for that. If you guys want to talk about it,
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't have any
just
notes
to
on
show
it,
some
but
more love
sounds
for the
good.
minors. Well, in that
Hey,
case,
go
I'll
Miners.
go for it. We talked about who was it? CO2 coming out of nowhere with those 8 games, and it really shows because at the current moment, Melm is the goal leader for goals per game, sitting at 1.42. Then we got AG 4410, who I affectionately call Silver. He's sitting at 1.33 goals per game, and Dominic at 1.25. So I mean, we've got some like solid shooters coming out from the minors. Melm doing his thing for CO2. So it's clear why they won those 8 when he can just shoot up in points like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I believe
And
there's 3 players on the leaderboard just from the team alone.
those 3 players are on dominating teams at the moment. AG is on Quantum, Domin is on Obsidian, and Melm, of course, CO2. They're just those all-star teams right at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, for sure. I feel like I probably surprised you with wanting to talk about stats, so I apologize for that. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll just call it, I guess.
well, that's all we have. That's all I have. I'm Yanks. Thanks to Will again for interviewing. We got
Let's
Primo in
save the
here.
queen.
Has Sky in here. Shout out to all those guys, and I want to thank everyone for watching, supporting us. Peace out, guys.